I won't dwell. I won't dwell. I will not dwell on one thing. Definitely not.
Well, after that thing about the casino,
Yeah.
same guy got up and said the same thing. But
Yep.
I mean, yes,
Thanks, George.
you're welcome. Good luck.
Thanks. Afternoon, everybody. Should we get started before everybody else gets here? Connor, do you want to do an opening prayer for us?
All right, let's pray. Dear precious Heavenly Father, Lord, we love you. We thank you so much for this wonderful time that you allow us to come together and address our concerns directly with our county commissioner. Lord, I pray that you be with us, help us have a peaceful time tonight, and your precious point, amen.
Amen. I want to thank Liberty Church, the staff, Pastors Lipscomb and Pastor Mills for letting us use this venue. And I want to thank everybody for coming. Thank you for allowing me to be your commissioner. It's an honor to be here. If we don't get to your questions tonight, we'll be recording them and we'll keep them, and we will get to your questions and we'll answer them personally afterwards. And I'll take those. And if I don't have an answer for you, then I will take your question back to the county staff, and I'll get some answers for you. So first, I want to know who's here. Who lives in the northern part of the district? Will you raise your hand? Who lives in the northern, like Beulah, 9 Mile Road, Pine Forest? I recognize some of you, a lot of you. What about Bellevue, Marcus Point? Anybody from there? Just two? Bellevue is not very vocal. You guys must be pretty happy over there. But we're not going to forget about you, because I know that's some of the comments I get is Perdido gets a lot of attention and Beulah gets a lot of attention, but I'm not forgetting. And I guess most everybody here is from Perdido, Innerarity. Yeah, good. So in the future, what I want to do is I want to have town halls where it's specific for that region, you know. So if you're in Marcus Point, or if you're up in Bellevue, we'll have something in the Bellevue Library, or maybe at Marcus Point Church, and up in Beulah at Beulah Church or someplace like that. So it's easier for me to prepare, and it's also easier for you to know that you're arriving because you want to have answers about your neighborhood. So that's what we'll do in the future. This one here was kind of going to be that way, and it kind of amounts to be that way anyway. So, is there anybody here from District 2? I know there's at least one. Couple. Okay. Well, I took the oath to represent you two. Thanks for being here. When you call the office, I just want to mention this. We'll ask where you live, only because we want to make sure that we know where you are. If you're a District 1 resident, otherwise we'll refer you to another commissioner. We don't ask what your party affiliation is. We don't ask who you voted for. I know you know that. I just want to make sure you know that I know that too. So I will represent all of you to the best of my ability, and I have tremendous ability, as somebody likes to say. So like I said, how I'm going to plan on the town halls. What I also like to do is kind of like to make some announcements first. Announcements. We got a Board of County Commissioner meeting on Thursday. Public forum begins at 4:30, and the regular meeting starts at 5:30. How many of you have been to a Board of County Commissioner meeting? A lot of you. Good, good. I recommend you go to these things. Navy Days is May 9th, 10th, and 11th. And if you go to Pensacola-NavyDays.com, you can learn more. That's coming up, and this is our second one. It's going to be bigger than last time. And it's to honor the military, not just the Navy. Although this is a Navy town, and when I say Navy town, it's a Navy Marine Corps town. Rosamond Johnson Memorial Ceremony is this Saturday at 10 o'clock. I'll be there, and I think Commissioner District 3 will be there, Linda May will be there. That's always a nice event to honor Ensign Johnson, Private Johnson. And May 30th, at the end of the month, we have the Grand Fiesta Parade, and that starts at 6:30 p.m. This will be my first parade for the Grand Fiesta, so I'm kind of excited about that. It's going to be warm, though. So SOP for the town hall, I'm going to go through as many questions as I can, but I'm going to start with some, I guess, some things that I think that you'd probably be interested in first. And then we'll take questions. And like I said, if we don't get all your questions, we'll try to. And if we don't, we'll get to them later. Oops. So let me start with Paradise Beach. It's the first one, Gil. Paradise Beach Firehouse. I had a long conversation with Gil about this. If you guys don't know Gil, raise your hand. Gil's a firefighter, 45-year veteran of the firehouse, and it's one of the issues that was important to him. Became an issue for me. I didn't understand what was going on in Paradise Beach until I met Gil, and I've had several meetings with Gil about it, and I'm sorry to say that progress has been really slow. More than slow. I guess it's been about 7 years, because when I started talking about this, I said it was about 6 years ago that we lost the volunteer firehouse on Bower Road, and now it's been It's been about 7 years. And when I was knocking on doors out there, people were telling me that their insurance rates have gone up 350%, sometimes more than that. 350% from $2,000 to $7,000 a year. That's a big increase. Does anyone live out there on Bower Road affected by this firehouse, their insurance rates? Yeah, there are about 3,000 homes affected by this, and it's been going on for far too long. Gil's telling me that it's millions of dollars in premiums that people are paying out there, probably unfairly to begin with, but also they pay the fire protection MSBU too, the same one I pay. And I have a firehouse 3 miles from my house, and that's the same firehouse that services your house, Gil, right? So that's not fire protection at all, and I swear I'm going to fix that. I'm going to do everything I can to fix that. Is there anything you want to say, Gil? I know you have a lot to say. I don't mind. You can let me have it. Get the microphone over there.
Unfortunately, the last commissioner we had, Mr. Burgash, I started with him with this, and they closed the station down. We don't have a fire station within 8-10 miles of our house. My insurance has gone up from $2,000 a year to over $5,000 homeowners. I've got people who live in the area who can't even get insurance because they can't afford it. They're retired people. I'm fortunate enough, at least I can get insurance on that. And I've been on Paradise Beach since 1974. That's 50 years. A long time. And I've seen a lot of changes out there. And a couple of neighbors just built a 5,200 square foot house out there, Brian. That's a lot of house. It burns down. Last month, there was another house being built down the street, half a block from my house. They were living in a trailer outside the house being built. Trailer caught fire. Burned to the ground. And there was a fire hydrant not more than 15 feet from where they were at. These things shouldn't happen. I shouldn't have to pay a MSBU like everybody else does if I'm not getting covered. That's the bottom line. And I've got some other property out there too, wooded property, that I'm paying on that too. And now they want to go up on MSBU more. The county administrator wants to go up double everything, and I'm still not going to have coverage. Unfortunately, Steve let me know that we got at least another 2 years before we see a fire station even get started. I'm 75 years old. It probably never be done until something happens to me. That's the problem. Unfortunately, I'm sorry. It's, I didn't want to bring it up, and that's part. And Steve walked into this, and I mean, he got it. For God was the one that got it, and he didn't help us at all. And I appreciate your time, and just want to let you know, I'm not stopping fighting for the families out there. They're building more houses every day, and they need it. Thank you.
Yeah, Gil's talking for 3,000 homes over there that are affected by this lack of a firehouse out there. So this week, and I'm going to talk to Wes Marino and to our assistant county administrator, Debbie Bowers, about it. This week, we should have possession of the property. There's about 5 acres that we're going to get possession of on Bronson Field, where our new firehouse is going to go. I got the idea that maybe we can park our fire truck over there and we can bring the insurance rates down, but I was told that wouldn't work. That wouldn't be enough. The MSBU, fire protection MSBU that the county's about to vote on, which essentially is going to double the MSBU, because what we've been doing now is we've been taking out of the general fund to supplement the MSBU. That MSBU is going to provide for the firefighters at 3 different firehouses. The one at Paradise Beach, a replacement, I think, at Myrtle Grove, and the other one's on Kingsfield Road. That'll be another firehouse up there in District 5. We do have the fire truck, and we do have the equipment. We're training the personnel. We have to get the structure, and it's a prefab structure. And I don't know why it would take 1 to 2 years to do this, because I know that we could build a house in, a few months, and it's supposed to be prefab. So I'm going to check about expediting that, because I think maybe we just haven't, stuck somebody in the side enough to figure out why we can't do this, why we can't get it done right. And $2 million. Now, the one good thing is that firehouse, this prefab firehouse, is supposed to last 50 years. So that's good. I like that. Gil told me fire trucks last about 20 years. And we got all the equipment. So it sounds like we're ready to go, except for the firehouse, which I wish we had been ready to drop on that spot this week. Given that we knew we were going to have it this year, we should have been planning, I think, for that. I think they said 1 to 2 years. So I was being less than generous by saying 2 years. It could be 1 year, but we'll see if we can speed that up too. Who wants to ask a question about 4-laning Sorrento Road and Gulf Beach Highway? Who wants that happen, or at least get the road paved so we're not running over the bumps? And would you'd like to do that? Okay. So that's divided into 3 sections, and I actually have my where's he at? Where you at, Keith? He's my representative on the TPO on the Citizens Advisory Committee. So he knows this as much as I do, as well as I do. It's, there's, that stretch of road is state road, and it is divided into 3 sections. The first section that's going to get done is number 5 on the list. It is not funded. And that's from the intersection there at Perdido Key Drive, Sorrento, that intersection, all the way up to Blue Angel. That's number 5 on the list. And I think, if I might have this backwards, I think number 16 is from Blue Angel to Fairfield, is that right? And number 15 is from Blue Angel, I'm sorry, from Fairfield to Navy Boulevard. And those are, not funded and years away from getting done. When I was working with Mike Kohler in his office, we talked about me being the commissioner and us mirroring that up, because I think it's important not just to the west side, but it's important to the whole county that that road is married up, and we get that done around the same time. So that's what I need to compromise Sorrento to Blue Angel, moving that down the list just a little bit if we can move the other ones up. So we'll see but I've only got one vote. Does everybody understand how the TPO operates, what the TPO is? It's a transportation planning organization for Alabama and Florida. It consists of the county commissioners from Santa Rosa County, Escambia County. It's got city council members from Orange Beach, Milton, Gulf Breeze, Pensacola, and I got one vote. And they all got one vote. So we all have to find ways to work together to make this happen. And this summer, I think, actually we got a meeting in May and another one in August. I guess we just meet quarterly. We're going to reprioritize our list. So I suspect it's not going to change a whole lot, but we'll see. Perdido Key Roundabout. Is that a problem for anybody? Yeah. So that had gotten really quiet after the election, and I thought everyone was okay with it. I drive through there a lot, and it seemed to me that everybody was kind of working that roundabout. But then suddenly we started getting some more phone calls and getting more emails about that roundabout, and people are still unhappy. But they're mostly unhappy, I think, about the way it looks than they are about the way it operates, because it's working. So before I was running, I was reading about roundabouts, and in Florida we actually have more roundabouts than any other state in the country. And we have to explore the idea of a roundabout before we put in a light or anything else. So if you don't know, at that roundabout location at Johnson Beach Road, there was a TPO report that came out, and you may have heard me talk about this before, that didn't recommend putting in a roundabout, putting in a light, or changing the speed limit there. There had been a few accidents. Those accidents were at about 1 or 2 miles over the speed limit, that's all. There were a couple of drunk driving accidents there. The TPO did not recommend doing anything there. I'm sorry, the TPO, the FDOT didn't recommend changing anything. But we did it anyway. I think it was $850,000 price tag at the beginning. It ended up costing $1.4 million. So what I don't want to do is I don't want to demo that roundabout. I don't want to do that. I've looked at some engineering plans, and that roundabout can be expanded to 2 lanes. It doesn't need to be 2 lanes yet. What we need to do is we need to change the shape of it. It needs to be a little bit bigger. And everybody knows the problem with it. When you're going south, oh, thank you. You guys like bigger? And so going south, that approach needs to be opposite of the northern approach. But I've looked at some engineering plans, and that can be bigger. It can be expanded to 2 lanes. We don't need 2 lanes. That road, a few years ago, Perdido Key Drive, was, I think, it was less than 20,000 cars a day traveling on that road. And that roundabout, a single lane roundabout, can hold 25,000. That road, 25,000 cars. We're not quite there. But we may get there someday. And since there's room to make it 2 lanes, why don't we make it 2 lanes now instead of spending more money later while we're fixing it? So that's what I want to find out. I want to find out about doing that. But the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure the sprinklers are working in there. Maybe we get some plants in there that look a little better. I still go there once in a while, and I'll have people stop in the roundabout to let me in. That's not how roundabouts work. They might be out-of-towners. But I appreciate everybody's patience with that. We got to come up with the money to do that, and we will. But I want to start a beautification project in there for sure. Yes, sir.
They've recently said that they're going to four-lane it to Highway 98. But they're not going to go from 98 to
Yeah.
Blue Angel Parkway where four-lane is. Why would we want to have a bottleneck right there and then a few years later have to come back and do it again? Why can't they four-lane to where it's four-lane?
Yeah, I've seen that, and I've looked at the plans, and I think you correct me if I'm wrong, Keith, it's like a $346 million study just to do that.
Well, what's it going to be like in a couple of years?
Oh, it's going to be over
$1 trillion?
Yeah, so these things don't get cheaper the
I
longer we
understand.
wait.
That's why I don't understand.
Yep.
They're going to have all the equipment, they're going to have all the people to do another mile or.
There's the same problem that we're facing trying to go the other way with along Gulf Beach Highway. Did you want to say something, Keith? Keith's got something to add to that.
I just want to know, the clarification of your question about the section of road that's going to be 2-lane and doesn't show on that as being 4-lane, because there are actually 2 separate projects for 4-lane Blue Angel Highway, and one project will be completed before the long stretch. I brought in a brochure. Do you have that brochure I brought in? But anyway, there's a link where it's from the base up to Highway 90, Mobile Highway. It's all going to be 4-lane. Yeah, and when he brings me the brochure, I'll show you the second one.
Anybody else hear about the second project?
Give her a microphone. Don't yell at me.
I'm sorry. We just went to the meeting that they had, the state put on at Baptist Church in Murfree on the highway. And they were doing Blue Angel Parkway from 98 out to Pine Fork. And that is, they're going overboard in what they're doing and what we need. So, that's gonna be a while. But they didn't say anything about Blue Angel, so I didn't know we we're gonna get Blue Angel.
Yeah, that's something they've been talking about for a while. That's not funded. That's not funded either. None of the things on my list are funded. None of them are. This is number 4 on the list.
Well, let me tell you something, Steve. I live in Warrenton. Gulf Beach Highway has to go out, but I will tell you this. I also am going downtown at times at 7 o'clock, 7:30 in the morning to go downtown. And the traffic on Gulf Beach Highway hits Barangas, and they stay on Barangas and they go to Garden Street. If we could get Blue Angel to 98 paved, they would go in the same way, except they would be on 98 to Navy Boulevard that swings over and be going straight down, because when they come out off of Barangas, they're going straight to Garden Street. And I think it's kind of dumb that we don't fix one thing and get the traffic off, because out there, it would have a different route, go from
I don't have an explanation for that either.
if I had not been going downtown at that time and saw the traffic, how it was flowing to work, that's what made me aware that Blue Angel, they could spend the money over there fixing Blue Angel. Forget about Coffee Valley right now. Huge traffic flow would be different.
Did you get your answer, sir, from Keith? Were you able to help them with that? Sir? I know the answer's not a good answer. That was on my list though, the four laning of Blue Angel. I can't believe it cost $346 million to do that study. I think we all need to get in the study business. Let's see. The Perdido easement. Is that a concern for anybody here? The beach easement? Because you live at the beach or because you want to use the beach? You live there. You live there too?
Yes.
And you live there? You live there? Okay. You live there? Everybody lives there that's got their hand up? So that's what I thought. So some of the issues I've heard about folks coming out there behind your condos and using your pool and using your bathrooms and vandalizing your condominium. I know how I would feel about that myself. I know how I'd feel. I feel exactly the way you do. I don't think people are anxious to get behind the condos because they want to use the beach there. I don't go there. I go to Johnson Beach. I don't even go to the beach access points because I don't know any women that want to use those porta potties. But there's some legislation in Tallahassee that I'm waiting on, and I think it's gonna make the decisions for us. I was hoping that we could come to a compromise, maybe instead of 75 feet, make it 50 feet or something like that. People can still walk along the water line, back and forth. I just don't see why anybody would want to park at one of those beach access points and not, well, I'm going to go that way. I'm going to go behind the condo and put up my tent and put in my chair and play beach volleyball. I don't see that happening. And I don't see anybody else in here worried about going back there except for the people that live there. So I believe in property rights, and I think that's why you bought that property, because you believe that that's your property back there. Ma'am, you guys are going to have to be closer to get these mics to these people. What are you guys doing in the back?
No, I brought a relative in and we went to one of the beach access areas.
Down there.
Yeah.
And I didn't like the fact that those lines were in the water, and that's what we saw. We couldn't even, I live up closer to the sheriff's station of 98. I didn't like the fact that we couldn't go, we only had this little area and all the lines were in the water. So we could not walk past and go either way on the beach. That's what I didn't like.
Yeah, so that's unsatisfactory to me too. We shouldn't have that. I don't like to have, and so this was a battle that started several years ago where I think one commissioner was kind of encouraging the condominium owners to put up their signs, and I think there were chains up and everything else, which kind of clobbered the beach and made it look a little bit ugly too, right? Didn't it? I mean, if you live there, I know you want to protect your property, but wouldn't you rather they just stay away from it and you put up one or two signs? I think there should be some signs, and I think that's the way it is right now. But the chains and stuff was a little bit too much. But I guess with the issue of people vandalizing the properties, I mean, what do you do? What's the next course? what I'd like to start doing is I'd like to start having more patrols by the sheriff out there, maybe along the beach. At the beach access points, we're talking about, what's that called? The real-time crime, yeah. The real-time crime center, I guess it's called, where they actually monitor the cameras at the beach access points. What else can I say about that? You don't live in one of the condos then? No. Right here. Go ahead.
Yes. I live right next to, basically right next to, I live in Breeden, and that's right next to Access 2. And there is quite a bit of football game, of profanity, or soccer game, a lot of trash stuff down. I go fishing every morning, I pick up trash every day, okay? And, I know we get a lot of help from the county, sheriff department's great, but, you know, when you spend the kind of money most people did live out there on the beach, thinking you had a private beach, and you don't have one, and you gotta take care of it with no help. I don't know, I'm glad we got lifeguard stations, but I think that's good for liability for everybody. But, you know, I haven't heard anybody get hurt on somebody's private beach or somebody's, well, what would happen? I mean, who's liable?
Well, we can't have lifeguards out there if it's private.
I understand.
The county's not gonna pay for
I
lifeguards out
understand
there.
that, but what if somebody gets hurt playing a game on the part that's not 75 foot either? I mean, whose liability is that? So there's a lot of questions there. And we live it every day. I don't think it's fair that you get all these people that paddle searches and it's not there, you know. So guess who do we sue? I don't know. That's my thinking. And if you guys went out there fishing like I do almost every morning, saw the condition of the beach when people leave it. And it's from the beach access too, it's not from the owner.
I haven't been to beach access to lately, but our Rotary Club, we go out there, we do trash bash, and there's other groups that come out there to clean the beach up too. I got Connie Walker who keeps an eye on that beach to make sure it's clean. Thank you very much, Connie. Sir?
Yes, I live in Mirabella, and when I bought it 12 years ago, in a couple of days, it was private property beach, and I paid taxes for that private property. And all of a sudden, the former commissioner wanted to make this a pause, and there's going to me an issue. You're talking about sign. If you take and they have a 75-foot easement, I mean, you have to put a sign up on the beach to keep people off this private property. So you're just taking signs from each end of the beach and putting it on the beach that says this is private property, or unless what denotes the 75-foot easement. Also, the lead nothing behind the footbridge. May 1st, the turtle season starts. And we're in charge of making sure none of our occupants leave anything on the beach, any holes or anything. Who's going to enforce that when it's public? 75-foot easement. We're in charge, or we get penalized if somebody leaves something. It just doesn't, it seems to be a cause without anybody really wanting it to be, except the former commissioner. So,
Well, I hope this issue will be overtaken by events. We won't have to even talk about this again after the legislature gets out of session. We'll find out.
okay, but what is that?
That's another week.
No, what are you talking about? What is the legislature going to do?
I think it's to enforce the 75 feet easement.
Make it public?
No, not to make it public, no.
Well, that's,
I don't understand.
I don't either.
I don't either. We'll know more after the legislature gets out.
Well, wait, what are they leaving 18?
I'm sorry, say again?
2018,
Okay, the equestrian center, I don't see very many people here from, Beulah up here, but we're making some changes to the equestrian center. Yes, ma'am.
So I have a question. I also am a homeowner along the both beach lots. 60% of our beachfront and Burrito Key is public. Is it really a wise investment for our tax dollars to be spent fighting a pollution and then taking care of all the maintenance issues that the county is not going to be responsible for, not to mention the liability issues if somebody does get hurt on our property? You know, that causes a liability issue for me, it's gonna cause a liability issue for the county. Is this really a good way of spending all of our tax dollars?
No. I don't want to be in a lawsuit with condo owners anymore. I want to end all lawsuits with the county. I think you turned it off.
I have also lived on the beach for over 20 years, and most of that time was spent at one condominium where it's still a private beach, and now we live at Mirabella, which could be subject to the public easement. And I don't think we would have moved, that's taking a valuable property right, if we had known it was going to be a public beach. And I agree with many of the comments that the previous people have said. Thank you very much.
And I feel the exact same way you would feel, exactly like you. All right, let's move on to the next thing. Equestrian Center. At the Equestrian Center, we are making some changes there. We're going to be repaving the parking lot. There's potholes and other trip hazards that have been eliminated there already in just the last couple of weeks. There's some drainage concerns out there from the summer that we're working on too. That's going to be at a price of about $40,000 to $50,000 to fix the drainage issues out there. Unlike other parks, the slow season for the Equestrian Center is in the summer months. So that's when they're going to start on these projects out there to fix that up. We had looked at the Equestrian Center, and it hasn't really been, nothing's been done out there for probably 20 years. And it's kind of a big deal, the Equestrian Center. It brings in money, but it's been getting run down. So we need to fix it, I think. I think they're replacing LED lights probably very soon too out there. Beulah Regional Park. So the Beulah Regional Park is something we see all the time. We go down Mobile Highway. The crews have been out there now and have been removing, picking it up, garbage. I haven't had a good look at it. I know the bathrooms need to be fixed and repaired, but I don't know about the equipment. The equipment actually looks okay to me, but maybe I haven't looked at it close enough. Let's see. They're going to add. Oh, one big thing is they're going to do, because pickleball is such a big deal these days. I guess there's two tennis courts out there. We're going to convert one of the tennis courts into a pickleball court, and I guess one tennis court equals 3 pickleball courts. So who's excited about pickleball? Okay, we got one. So that's going to happen in the next. This is probably going to be happening this summer too. Updating the parking, painting the restrooms, the plumbing and fixtures as well. They got to be fixed in there, like I said. They're going to have to close the park for about 4 weeks probably to do this, but it's going to be a lot better. Bars Field, I haven't heard much about Bars Field except for the lighting issues that they have at Bars Field. And I talked to Parks and Recs, the director there, Michael Rose, and he's going to put in he's going to talk to FPL about putting in some more lighting at Bars Field, because I guess when it's all over, it gets pretty dark out there and it can be pretty hazardous, so we'll fix that. The Southwest Sports Complex. Does anyone use the Southwest Sports Complex? The number one complaint I have about that place is the bathrooms. So ladies have to wait extra long to go to the bathroom there. I want to say that Parks and Recs director told me that they kind of fixed that problem. I guess, was it last year or the year before, they had they had put another bathroom by one of the football fields, but I guess that's not enough. So something we talked about is bringing in during the busy seasons, which is between February and May, to bring in some, what do they call them? Something similar to a Portland Blue, fancy toilets, not just porta potties, but these will be on a trailer. We'll bring them out there during the peak seasons and then take them back out. So that'll be the solution to that. Does anyone else got any issues with the field?
Steve, sorry, it's loud. I wanted to talk about EDP, because on behalf of some of your constituents here in Perdido Key, they have reached out to me because of the funding that's going to EDP. Well, we have a wonderful soccer complex here on Valor Road. They have so many needs there that need LED lights because their light bill is like $40,000 a year. They have tournaments that offset the cost of the field or the lights, so they need LED light, upgraded concession stands, a lot of things that soccer, baseball, all those things need on those fields. There's a lot of money going to that area. I think Perdido Key can certainly handle something like that and bring a lot of business to this area. How can we, I mean, that's not decided firm yet on the NEP, the money going to NEP, is it?
Going to where?
NEP, the fields,
I'm sorry, I'm not hearing that right.
northeast Pensacola Fields, on 9 Mile.
Oh, on 9 Mile, on 9 Mile?
Yes. Sorry, I know.
So they have received, I think, well, they haven't received anything yet. But the TDC did say that they were going to recommend 25 million, I think it was, 25 million. And I saw with the laundry list, it was 1 million per field, I think each one of the 20 fields and stuff like that. That actually is a valuable piece of property out there for sports tourism. So I'm undecided about that, but I'm kind of leaning toward that's a good thing. Now, that doesn't mean we can't.
All the fields need to be taken care of, but they can put that much money into one field. Why can't they spread the wealth out to all the parks and stuff? Because everybody needs it. We've all been part of youth sports. Is there anybody here from baseball, football that does the Southwest Complex? Okay, I guess everybody's home doing their homework. So, but just talking to people, these are some of the things that I've shared with you as well that they brought up.
Yeah, I understand. It's a lot of money. It's a lot of money to invest in just one space. I know that. And one of the things that when I was first one of the issues I ran about on was that it felt like, because I think that we generate 24% of the bed tax, a lot of bed tax. We're number 2, yeah. And I don't think anyone's close to that. I mean, downtown's not number 2. It's the beach that generates the most. But we're not seeing any of the money here. Whether it's, porta potties on the beach, I hate that. I hate seeing porta potties on our beach access points. We don't have a lot of crime out here, so we don't have a lot of presence with the deputy sheriffs out here. I don't think that's a bad thing, that's a good thing. But we don't seem to get a lot of attention, I think. And I think that you need to go to the BCC and kind of make your point. That's how you make your government work for you. You got to come there, and if there's something that you want, because I always say the decision making for me is easy. All I have to do is listen to you. You tell me what you want, and I will vote the way you would vote if you knew what I knew. And what I will do is I'll make sure you know everything I know. And then hopefully we'll come to some agreement. But in the end, it's easy for me to make the decisions because I have to listen to you, and not so I can get reelected. Because we don't know if that's ever going to happen again. We just know that we live out here and we love it here. And I want everything that you probably want. I want the money to remain here. I want our beaches to be clean. I don't want porta potties on the beach. Perdido Key is very unique in that I think the people out here, well, not that unique in a way. I think this is something that I think Beulah and Perdido Key can agree on. We're worried about the overdevelopment. I didn't hear anybody clap for that. We're a little bit worried about the overdevelopment. They are in Beulah too. And, did you have a question? Mike?
I think we're worried.
But, hold on, stand by.
We're worried about Perdido City.
Yeah, well, I think they've changed their course, I think, and they're not, what were they called before? The incorporation you're talking about. Yeah, they've changed to Envision Perdido. Is that what it's called? It's Envision Perdido. And basically, they're concerned. That's what they are. They're concerned citizens. And what I have said, and I said this, it became an issue on the campaign, but it's not an issue for the county. You guys still get to vote for that. We all get to vote for it. I got one vote for that, and it's not as a county commissioner. It's just as a citizen of Perdido, this area. But they just want to preserve Perdido. They don't want it to turn into Destin, and they don't want it to turn into, I hope no one here lives in Beach Haven. They don't want it to turn into Beach Haven. Because it's pretty out here. It's nice out here. It's nice all the way up to I-10. It's beautiful in this district. This is a beautiful place to live. And I think we want to preserve that. And that's what Envision Perdido wants too. So don't get too down on Envision Perdido. They really want what's best for all of us. And I think they changed course, and they're not quite as excited about the idea of incorporation anymore. But that could change. Was that?
Okay. Yes, I agree that we all want the same thing, but I think we need to unite. We've got tourism tax dollars out there that we don't see anything. So Steve, if you can help direct us the best way to get funding for different things out here with our tax dollars that are out there, that would be wonderful. And I think that would unite Perdido, and we can come up with a list of all the things that we need.
Yeah.
I'm with the Chamber of Commerce, so I talk to a lot of people. We have a business development committee, and we're always trying to address issues out here. But we need some funding.
We do, and that's my job. My job is to work at the 30,000 foot level, right, to kind of figure out where that funding comes from. And you've got Hassan and I've got Connor here helping at the ground level to make sure we take care of some of the individual personal issues. But I'll help you get that funding. Okay, what's next? We talked about Barsfield, Bellevue Park. I'm not talking about that. Beach access number 3. So I was holding off on beach access number 3 about tearing that down because I just thought it was such a waste. I know that several years ago, it's been more than several years ago, that they put the structures for the bathrooms at beach access 3 and 2, and I like having that infrastructure. I like it. But then we got pictures from a condo owner at beach access number 3, and that's all he sees is the toilet's right outside his window. He's on the first floor. I think he's a renter, but still that's what he sees. So we need to move that. We are gonna tear that down. It's in bad shape anyway. We're gonna tear that down and we're gonna put something else there. I had talked with Park and Recs about those Portland loos at the beach access points too. They're nicer. We can move them when a hurricane's on its way, and then put them back when we need them. Who likes that idea? Does anyone know what a Portland loo looks like? A Portland loo is a fancy toilet. If you've ever been to a PGA event, and I've only been to one, I'm not that fancy. They're nice toilets. They're nice. They're clean and they're pretty, and we don't have to maintain them. We pay, we lease them. That's what we do. And when tropical storms come in, then we take them out and we bring them back when we need them. I guess you don't get to talk.
Anyway, let me introduce myself. I'm Vice President of Bernito Key Association. I've been out on the beach 30-something years. Started with this project, with the beach access, is to take it over. It's never taken or done by the county. I've done the signs you see now, all the signs up there, and cleaned it myself for 3 years. We're now down to 2, which has been renovated, when we had Bergosh, Commissioner Bergosh. And 3 was supposed to be done at the same time, but was held off for a different reason, which I won't go into. 3, I have personally taken the pictures, I submitted them, and I know the owners next door who submitted them as well. It was conditions that were deplorable. That is why we put them in vandalism signs that you still see on number 3. That happened. Not only they cut down our county signs, they cut down our private beach sign. So a lot of things have occurred in this process up to now. So we're back to 3, and we have explored what Steve is talking about, Portaloos, and it's all about coastal resiliency, that we want things that can be removed with a hurricane. Thus, the porta potties on the other, Access 4, which is our model, which is doing splendid. We have had no complaints with the porta potties, the cleanliness, the signs are out there, the Moby mats, all these things, and 2 did the same thing. So 2 followed 4, and 3 was supposed to follow as well. So we're back to 3, which is what Steve's talking about. So if there's a coastal resiliency, which is what he's talking about, it can't be removed, that's the goal that we want to do. Even the Moby mats can be removed when there's a hurricane. And we definitely Parks and Recs are wonderful people. Worked with them for years in keeping them clean for every person that comes out there. So that has been my project for a long time, and then we're down to what Steve's talking about now. So that's a feasible plan, but 3 needs to come down. Vandalism, and we're in major magazines. We're up there, the world's most beautiful beaches, and you see this at 3. The rest are all up to par. The 3's got to go. They were there since I was out there, I've been out there 30-something years. So those 2 and 3 buildings were there since I. So, and they're the condition that number 3 that you see now. But you see the results in 2. It stays clean, it's maintained, no problem, and officers are on to all the time. We don't get help at night. That's when our vandalism occurs.
Thank you, Connie. But I hate seeing, and I hate to think that people come across the border and the first thing when they go to one of our beach access points is they see these porta potties. Porta potties suck, especially if you're a lady. They suck. But if you're a man and you gotta have a seat too, they still suck. They suck bad. So I want to get rid of those. I don't want to have porta potties there. I want to do the Portaloos or something similar to that that we can get out. I just don't think that's a good sight for us when people come across the border, and that's what they see in Burrito Key. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I want to shift gears back down to structure a minute. One of the problems that I have is the Sorrento Road. I know that there's projects, I know that there's 4-lane plan, I know that it's unfunded. But if we don't do something with the potholes that are starting from Bauer Road up towards the cement plant, you're going to have an accident there. People are trying to dodge those things. They're getting into the other lane to try to keep from hitting them. They're getting on the side of the roads to run off. That's something that should be an absolute priority for the county and for the state, because I know it's a state highway, to get that fixed ASAP, because that is absolutely a safety hazard.
I agree with you, and my wife agrees with you. We never take, once we leave, if we're coming from Blue Angel, we never go that way. It's too dark, it's too potholy, there's deer grazing, there might be drunk drivers. It just doesn't seem like a safe place to go. I know how you feel. And so Gina and I always go down, we go down all the way down Blue Angel toward the west gate, and we go down Old Gulf Beach Highway and go home. That's how we go home. We won't take that road. So it's a priority for me. That's that way. You're talking about the other direction. That's where we have all the potholes from, well, no, I'm sorry, from Ballard Road up to Blue Angel and beyond. It's pothole city. I know it is. Yeah, it's too much. I'll bring it up at the FDOT meeting about that, see what we can do to at least start getting it paid, get it repaid. Because the pothole jobs that I've seen around the county, I mean, if you ever been into Warrington and you just go down, I guess it's Main Street once you get to Davie Boulevard, the potholes just look sloppy too. Even when they filled them in, they're still deep ruts. It's like, what the hell is this? So it doesn't seem safe to be going over those things either. So now, if you've ever been down Old Gulf Beach Highway down by Sorrento, I'm sorry, down by where the Publix is, one of the complaints I had is those speed bumps that we have there. They're not supposed to be speed bumps. It's something going on with the road, where the road comes up. We've had those ground down in the past. We just had those ground down again. And they did a much better job than I thought they would. If you've seen what I'm talking about, how they repaved all that, they've got nice asphalt there, and it's nice and wide. We could do something like that at the very least over there on Sorrento and Gulf Beach Highway. Mostly it's mostly Sorrento, I think, isn't it? Where those potholes are. Yeah, it starts about Ballard Road and starts heading west. It's pretty bad, I know. I'll talk to the TDO about that and see if we can do something about it.
Other lanes, trying to dodge those potholes. And they're over there in the southbound lane, maybe the northbound lane trying to head south. And that's where the biggest problem is the southbound lane coming down towards Ballard.
Yeah.
And it's between the cement plant and Ballard Road. And I'm telling you right now, you're gonna have a hell of a collision right there.
Yeah, it might be me, because I'm one of the guys doing the dodging. I'm one of those guys too.
Everybody's dodging.
Yeah. The multi-use path, that's been a concern for folks. Go ahead, sir.
Before you move past the 5 lane, I'd like to remember your experience.
I can't hear.
You're traveling south.
A little bit closer. I can't hear that good.
98. The intersection of 98 and traveling south on the outside lane, there's a monster there. You hit that sucker, you're about 60% more.
Where's that?
Where's the immediate attention because
Where are we talking about? Where's it at?
Pardon me?
Testing. There we go. Where's the monster at?
At the intersection of 98 and Navy Boulevard.
98 Navy Boulevard.
Just after you start your progress through the intersection, heading south. Now, the other thing I'd like to bring up is that on Navy Boulevard, when you turn into Chase Pit, it's one of the only entrances into that housing area. People use it politically to go from Navy straight through to Old Quarry, so they have access to Barack's. And when you come into that, if you're coming from the east and making that turn, the grocery store there has a light glaring at you for one thing, and there's a steep drop off that's right there. That I've known that cars have going in there, and there are many cars that almost going in there. The state owns that part of it. The entrance itself is a myth. It's all wavered, got potholes in it, a little bit. Betty was contacted about that, and she sent a team over. And if my team had did the work, I'd be terribly embarrassed. Because they put up little sticks, like, and only put some mud in a couple of potholes. It really needs to be surfaced like the old quarry. Redoing that whole thing. So if you really took into that, all those was there, and the people going through there would appreciate it.
Yes, sir. You write that down? We got potholes all over the place that we need to fix. You're right. And it makes it unsafe for all of us because we're dodging these things. Pretty good multi-use path. So for that, there were some concerns about the overgrowth on the path, and I've talked to Park and Recs. A lot of my discussions was with them and we're gonna figure out the best time to come out there and do it and maintain that, periodically. So there's gonna be times where it's gonna be more growth than others, and I think they've done a good job now, and they cleaned it up recently too. And in case you don't know, you can use that path for your bike too. So if you rent a bike or you own a bike, you can use that path for anything except for a golf cart. You can rollerblade, you can walk, you can run, you can ride your bike. So please do that. And we're gonna make sure we have signs out there right in front of the Bellagio. There's a bike rentals place there. We want people to know we're gonna have a sign right there. Rent your bike, get on the path. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, hey, I just want to clear up one thing about Envision Perdido, because you will hear more about it. It really is a group of concerned citizens. It's not We Are Perdido. We Are Perdido is trying to make it a city. That's dead. Everyone knows that's dead, long gone. Envision Perdido, the goal is to try and get the disparate groups, like folks that are in this room and folks that are, different chamber people and schools and churches together in this area toward the common goal. And really the common goals are to preserve the unique character of Perdido, Steve talked about, all of you have talked about. Keep some of this tax base that's created out here into this area, and work on the infrastructure in the area. So these are all things that you all brought up tonight, and that's really the goal of Envision Perdido. It is really a group of concerned citizens trying to get the disparate groups together and head in a direction that's not, I want to say it's not a political organization, because it will be lobbying Steve, but it's not a political organization, and it's trying to create another government. So please disassociate that, and when you see it, please don't automatically turn your head away, because it's trying to do a lot of the things that y'all in here are concerned about.
Yeah, and to add to that, I would say my understanding is the genesis for We Are Perdido and now Envision Perdido is because the folks out here in Perdido, in Arrarity, down in this area, were unhappy with the county's management of Perdido. I mean, is everybody happy with the way the county's been managing it out here?
No, there's a lot of truth to that.
Yes.
I think the people out here feel a little bit overlooked and neglected, and they feel like, it's a huge tax base and money's going elsewhere, and we see things deteriorating and not going the way that we want them to go.
Thank you. Let's see. Pine Forest Road traffic. So that's a big one. Now, I'll tell you the truth. When I've been on Pine Forest Road, I must not be there when there's a lot of traffic, but I guess there's a lot of traffic because that's one of the biggest concerns everyone's got. They tell me it's not enough to be 4 lanes, it needs to be 6 lanes, which sounds unbelievable. And the truth is, I don't even know where that is on the TPO priorities list. Do you? You do? Where's that?
I think there's an expansion coming up somewhere around.
I can't hear you.
There is an expansion on it. Give me a few minutes and I'll see if I can find it. But Pine Forest is already in the approved and funded stages, and it's going to be expanded, I believe, to 4 lanes. And I believe there's a concern on the north side of the interstate where you have 2 lanes of travel in one direction, 1 lane of travel in the other direction.
Yeah, it's going to get busy over there. The Wawa's open there now, and you got Rousey Station. It's going to come online. There's going to be a new hotel. There's going to be more shopping over there, and it becomes a 2-lane road, right? When you go north.
Right. But I understand it's already funded. 8 doesn't sound right to me. I think it's like number 3, but it's coming up within the next year or so, and I understand that it's also funded. I'll see if I can find the other information on it.
Okay, thank you. Now, before I get to questions, I want to talk about just one more thing, and it's about homelessness. Does anyone see homelessness out here in District 1? Do you? So, I'm not blind, but I don't see a lot of it. I don't see any of it. I thought I saw somebody the other day, but it turns out he had a house. Was that a homeless guy who started fire? if you don't know about that fire she's talking about, there's a fire right about where the, what is it, the pizza place, Pizza Lute, behind Pizza Lute, right?
The worst was like, look at CVS, back there, there's a bunch of land for sale, and that's really where it started, and then it traveled to the pizza saloon.
Yeah.
But there was a homeless community back there.
Yeah, so this isn't going to solve the homeless problem, but I met with Just Pensacola. Is everyone familiar with who Just Pensacola is? Just Pensacola wants to solve this problem, and they want to solve it one house at a time. And what we're going to do, what I'm going to do, is we're going to look for parcels in District 1, and the other commissioners will do the same thing, that we can donate to the land trust that Habitat for Humanity manages. And we'll build homes there. Now, these will be homes that are going to be, Habitat for Humanity builds homes for like, I don't know, $115,000, so they do a really good job. This is a home that somebody starts out in, and when they're ready to move out, they sell it for essentially the same price. The property always belongs to the county. They don't have to sell that. They're just selling the house. But then that house can become someone else's starter home because those people are moving up into something else. So, like I said, I don't see a lot of homelessness. There's one guy my wife and I see once in a while, but he's, I guess he's a District 2 resident. But I do trust, if you don't know who Sam Young is, from Habitat for Humanity, CEO of Habitat for Humanity, I trust him to build homes, build good homes, and manage the money the way you manage your own money. Sir, ma'am?
Hi, yeah, I think a lot of the homelessness problem that we're experiencing on Gulf Beach Highway, where Gulf Beach turns into Sorrento, is also tied to the fentanyl problem. Literally, Christmas morning, I had a sign at the end of my street of a young girl asking for her mom to come home instead of being at the tent city at the end of my cul-de-sac doing fentanyl with, and she named it. And that was on the stop sign at the end of my street. So I realized you might not see the homeless problem, but Gulf Beach at Sorrento, I see it walking up Gulf Beach Highway daily. So I've worked with Habitat for Humanity, so I know the wonderful things they can do. They're not going to help the tent city that I have happening literally at the end of my street. So that is a big concern.
Well, we do have a new no camping ordinance too, so. Now, I know that there's other pockets too. I've heard on Blue Angel, north of Highway 98, that there's people in the woods in there. There's lots of places to hide. I don't expect the sheriff or the deputy to go into those places and start looking for people and dragging people out. I don't think the sheriff wants to do that either. But it's not allowed. Ma'am, in the back.
I'm a new Floridian, and this is one of the few town halls that I've acted into. And to say something like, we have camping laws here, that doesn't address the homeless problem, and just moves them somewhere else. I come from an area where we have the most homeless people who have been homeless for the longest period of time, and that's Kansas City, Missouri. And I can assure you, saying that they can't camp is not a solution. Come to a town hall, I want to hear solutions, not something that the state has come up with that you're not going to camp on our land.
I agree. So, I don't think being homeless is a crime, but I don't like to see it. And I've said this before, I don't like to see homelessness anywhere near me. My wife and I have actually had a homeless guy at our house for Thanksgiving once. At my invitation. She didn't know about it. Last time I'll do that. Otherwise, I'll be homeless. So, what? Now, I don't know if you guys feel the same way about this as I do, but I feel like in Pensacola, we spend a lot of money, throwing a lot of money at the homeless issue, and we don't solve anything. Instead, we've created a cottage industry that lives on this money that we get or that we use, and I don't agree with that. So I have a good friend, I won't mention his name, but he has come up with, he used to live in Arkansas, really good friend of mine, former Navy captain, used to be the Iwo Jima skipper, and real legit guy. And when he was in Fort Smith, Arkansas, he fixed the homeless issue there. And I'm hoping that he's going to be able to fix our issue here. And it's not going to be in District 1. It's going to be where the resources are. It's probably going to be a District 2 or District 3 issue. That's where we're going to have to, because that's where the resources are. We sure don't want everybody coming out here. What I don't want is I don't want to start moving everybody to the outskirts, to where I live, because that's why I live out here, because it's nice and quiet out in Perito. But we'll find solutions. You guys are going to have to move up. Someone come over here with a microphone, please. I'm going to have to run down the stage myself.
Not just the homeless people, but what can we do about people that are abandoning their dogs and cats? And then they're all getting pregnant, and we got cats and dogs all over the place. And I know it's because they can't afford to feed them, that's why they're abandoning them, but some of these dogs are dangerous. And I know I tried to call animal control, and I can't get anywhere with animal control. I've been out and walking my little dog that almost gets attacked by a bigger dog that somebody abandoned.
Well, I have an answer to that. Next question. I'm just kidding. There's a feral and cat problem where I live too. I live on Inverity Island. There's cats all over the place, and we have people out there feeding the cats too. I don't think that helps the problem, but I don't think you're actually allowed to actually keep food out overnight. You're only allowed to feed them, and then you got to bring in the food. You can't leave bowls out. I think that's the way the ordinance is written. So that's not an answer, but that's a problem all over the county. I don't think I see too many dogs. It's mostly cats. There's lots of dogs too. I haven't seen a lot of dogs out in the wild since I lived in Cairo, Egypt. That's where all the dogs were, I thought. Larry?
Hey, thank you, Steve, for having this. This is excellent. I get to hear all the people come out and present you problems that you're supposed to get the solution. But most of these don't have a solution. You know it. We know it. I mean, if the homeless were to get, if the homeless and the poverty were to get solved, if somebody could solve it, I think it's been solved by now. Since, the war on poverty.
That's why I think it's a cottage industry now.
Yeah, it is. And people make living off of the nonprofits and all these. They make a living off of it. And if not, they send them to prison for being homeless or to jail where it costs $50,000 a year to house them. You just can't. I've got a nephew who's been homeless for 12 years. He don't want to work. You can't make him. It's not Steve's problem to solve. It's ours. Same with the people who have the dogs and the cats and they throw them out. That's not Steve's problem to solve. It's not any other county commissioner's problem. It's our problem. We're the ones who are producing this, either directly or indirectly. There's no solution, so I'd love to hear you say, hey, wait, y'all got a solution? After $30 trillion, that's what's been spent on the war on poverty, and we got more poverty. So maybe the government's the problem. Thank you.
Yeah. Well, I can't say I'm not gonna do anything, I gotta do something. At least gotta act like I'm doing something, right, Larry? Go ahead, man.
Steve?
I'm sorry, over there.
Steve, first of all, just want to thank you for doing this tonight, listening to us and not giving us a quick, easy answer.
I haven't got my glasses on, I recognize you,
Buford Livingston from here at Liberty.
Yes, sir.
But I was an active part of We Are Perdido, and now on the board of Envision Perdido, and there's still in our community kind of an a sense of conspiracy at work that we're going to incorporate Perdido, and we hear that a lot. And not only is that not on our agenda, we discovered that the state hasn't even considered one of these since 2017. So it was dead in the water, not only here, but there. We are bringing the community leaders together, organizations. We have just recently started the first Perdido Ministerial Association out here, and through Envision Perdido. And every church out here is excited about being part of that. We're working with the chamber, with Perdido, and one of the main things we're after doing out here is to really build greater community among us. That it's not Perdido Key over there, and Perdido Country Club or Old Gulf Beach House. It's Perdido is what we're after. And that's a big part of our vision. We had a lot of support for incorporating, but it just didn't work. And a lot of young people that have moved in here, not so much the older, but have bought properties here, they're on that page. But that's not, again, there's often talk and insinuation, but I want to assure, I'm a pastor here for 26 years, and I can tell you that's not what we're about. We're about building our community, supporting Steve and some of his efforts, and helping protect and try to control some of this rapid growth around here. And that's what we're on.
Yes, sir, thank you.
Hey, Steve,
Hi, Teresa.
There are two questions there that have to do with Beulah. Some of us drove all the way down here, so I hope you will be able to get to those.
What's your question? Go ahead and ask.
Well, there are two. One is OFA. Is there any update on that? Which probably not. And then the second one is Beulah Master Plan. That is with the county. It's been with the county for months. The form that it came in doesn't give you an easy action, way to have an action. But the county, Horace and Drew probably are analyzing it, but we need that master plan years ago. We need to know what's happening with it. Is it moving forward? Is there any plan related to that?
The Beulah Master Plan, I don't think there's been any movement since July, the last time.
Not true. The master plan came in around January. That's Beulah Master Plan, not OFA. Beulah Master Plan. It's for the greater Beulah area.
Yeah, but I'm saying I don't know if anything has happened since last summer.
Well, it has. They turned in what
So you came here already knowing what's going on?
No, I know they turned in a plan to the county like 4 months ago probably, and we have heard zero since then on what's happening with it, or is there any movement on it? Apparently not. Our own commissioner can't tell, didn't even know it was in, apparently. So that needs to move forward. Beulah, the growth is still happening, and we need it to be a better kind of growth. That plan talks about all kinds of things that should be happening so that the growth is better. But, this thing cost us almost $600,000. We should be doing something with it.
I agree.
So, it's time to get that on the table.
On OFA, there has been nothing going on with that.
Nothing out on it.
Stand by, Teresa. Okay. So what's been going on with that is, like I said, nothing. I talked about this at the business, what do they call it? The Business Alliance at FPL, I guess it was last Monday. And I told them that you're probably disappointed, but you're probably used to disappointment on OLF8. So with OLF8, we've got 2 bids, or 2 proposals on OLF8. Is everyone familiar with OLF8, what outlying field 8 is? A little bit, just one. So outlying field 8 is up there right next to Navy Federal Credit Union. It used to be 640 acres, now 100 acres occupied by Navy Federal Credit Union. The remaining 540 acres is what we're talking about, what we're going to do with that. And we've got 2 proposals. One is the Beulah Town Center, which is Metro and
Fred Hammer and
Fred Hammer and Chad Horn. And the second group is Tri-W. Yeah, thanks, Teresa.
Chad Henderson and Ashton.
So we have redlined their proposals, but we haven't received them back. I have spoken to Chad Horn about his proposal, and he's hoping that this week, maybe next week, they'll have a strategy. But right now, because of the economy, the financial markets, it's kind of hard to get a deal like this done right now, especially for this much money. So, and what we have done is we have asked for one closing, one real estate transaction. And for them, it's just hard to do right now. So they're both, I think, struggling to try to find a way to do this. And what I have said is I think maybe that the county is making it a little bit harder for both of these groups to operate, to try to get to a deal with us. So I'm going to see what we have to do to make that deal happen, because I do want to start getting more, I want to start getting some revenue from that property. I want something wonderful to happen out there. And I want them to stick to what the DPZ master plan is out there. So what I don't know, and I've been told by both groups, is they're both working with DPZ co-design, but I don't know just how much they have been talking with them. I know that Beulah Town Center said that Maria Corey is on the payroll. I'll find out. Anything else?
The main thing with that is that they follow the design code. That is, it specifies all kinds of things, like how far from the street, sidewalks, street trees, on and on. Those are the things that will make a quality place. And that is the thing that is the challenge. Neither one of these groups has built to that kind of specification. So they have to be held to that design code. The placement of the different uses can change, but with using the design code, it will still be a quality place. So that's the challenge with both those groups. I can't emphasize that enough. And so, thank you, and we got to get the Beulah master plan going at some point.
All right. Thank you. All right, let's go to some of these other questions on here. Vicki, did you want to come up now? I'm sorry, made you wait so long.
Ready for a break? Thank you, Steve. Good evening, I'm Vicki Campbell. I'm your ECUA representative for District 1. So if we haven't met and you want to meet me, I'll be up here when this is over. And if you have any questions, I'm going to do mine a little bit different. I'm going to give you a quick update on several things ECUA related to District 1, and then I'll take the questions afterwards. So first I want to talk about sanitation and recycling. How many of you recycle? Very good, very good. Thank you for doing that. Thank you for doing your part. Recycle is not a moneymaker, it's a cost avoidance. So everything we recycle, we don't have to bury at $45 a ton in a landfill. So that landfill fee is one of the fees that's on your bill, and every time you recycle, you are saving yourself money. If you heard recycling was canceled, did anybody hear that? That's Pensacola, Florida. That's the city limits. That is not in the county. We have never stopped recycling. We stopped for a brief amount of time because there was a fire that we had to take care of at the facility, the material recycle facility, but that's been long taken care of. So, and it happens every now and then that we'll have to close because somebody puts something they shouldn't have put in there and it catches on fire. But we've been recycling, and for the first time, we actually made a big profit last year. So pat yourself on the back, you're doing a good job. The reason we quit taking the city was because of the contamination. So we ask that you do two things. If you're in doubt, toss it out. I don't really care if you recycle, okay? Recycle, again, is a cost avoidance. So if you don't want to do it, just get another garbage can. Doesn't cost you any different, just get a second garbage can. So that way you keep down contamination. So if you ever say, oh, my recycle didn't get picked up, and then you see them come with a garbage can and pick up your recycle and put it in the garbage can, you know why that is? We have cameras on the back of the trucks, and if there's over 30% contamination in there, we just have to throw it away anyway. So if you're not going to recycle right, just get the second can. But if you are going to recycle, thank you very much, and we've been doing a much better job, and I think that's because we've been doing a lot more education. Second thing is District 1 from Beulah to Perdido is growing so fast. ECUA is working closely with developers, builders, legislators to plan and support that growth responsibly. Here's a quick look at some of the key projects I have going on in District 1. Interarity Phase 1 is an upgrade of the water main for all the way down Interarity Point Road. It was partially 6-inch and the other part was 8-inch. It's now going to be a 12-inch line all the way down, and I'm a big redundancy girl, so we're going to have an 8-inch redundant line as well. That is in the works. They're working on it right now, so if you live out in Interarity, you've probably already seen that going on. When we start on Phase 2, I would love to do more septic to sewer conversion in that area. Perdido Key redundant force main, that project begins this year as well. That's a backup line. If you've driven over the bridge, you've seen the water line that's on the bridge. This new line is going to be actually underneath the surface of the water, of the floor. So we'll have a redundant line. That way, if we lose service because of a storm or a barge damage, then we won't have to worry about it. New sanitation transfer station. We are working on this. This is a game changer for us. I'm going to give you a little bit more information at the end on that. Design is complete. It will offer faster routes, fuel savings. Construction starts this year unless it's delayed for any reason. Beulah, the new interchange and force main plan, we're awaiting the decisions that they make on OLF8, but we're ready. The minute they make up their mind what they're going to do at OLF8, we're ready to make those plans. Bellevue, we have sewer upgrades and a new force main going in on Michigan Avenue. That aging infrastructure in these areas is my top priority. Septic to sewer conversion, we continue to work with property owners, staff, and legislators to secure funding for septic to sewer conversion. If you want sewer service, now's the time to speak up so that we can include you in the next 5-year plan. If you don't want it, no worries. I know plenty of people in Beulah love their septic tank. I am not coming to get it. Currently, I'm focusing on areas closest to the waterways, and those water lines down Interarity Point Road are going to help me support water pressure and future sewer expansion. Water quality. While most calls I get are about trash, growth, water quality is what keeps me awake at night. You may have heard a lot recently about PFOAs and PFOS. Does everybody know what that is? Okay, that's chemicals. They're found in firefighting foam, but they're found in almost everything. They're found in furniture. They're found in the clothes you have on. They're found in cookware. They're actually found in dental floss, candy wrappers. They're found in all kinds of things. The state is likely going to mandate GAC, granular active carbon filters, on all wells in the future, but the ECUA did not wait. We've been installing these filters on high-risk wells to continue to expand protections. I brought with me a map in the back that shows all of our wells. It tells you which ones have GAC filters, which ones do not. We actually sued the maker of the chemicals for PFOA and PFOS, And I'm happy to tell you that we recovered anywhere from $50 to $80 million. We were a bellwether for that case, and we should start getting the funding this month. That money will be spent on continuing to put in GAC filters. Also, those filters, that granular active carbon has to be disposed of, and you can't dispose of it in just a regular landfill. So that will pay for the disposal of the granular active carbon that we use. So that $50 to $80 million is going to come in real handy, and it won't be coming out of your pocket. If you know how your government works here in Escambia County, you have a utility authority that was created in 1992, but they didn't give us any funding. So in other counties in Florida, you will find the things that are on our bill on your property tax bill. So if you're a property tax owner, that should make you happy because you're not just the person paying for the bill. Everybody that uses water, the 96,000 customers that we have that use the water, they all pay part of that. So now let's see, technology updates. Promised you a Recycle Coach app. If you don't have it, I will show you how to put it on your phone tonight. That Recycle Coach app, you can press a button if your garbage man didn't come. You can find all kinds of things on there, what you can and can't recycle, and we're continuing to add to that app every day. We also now have upgraded online bill payment system. Reach out to me if you're having any trouble. The best way to contact me is by email. That's on the website for ECUA. Or if you don't have email, feel free to text me. We don't have offices as the ECUA representative, so we use our own personal offices and our personal cell phones, but I have this thing with me everywhere I go. So let's see what else I have. More about that transfer station. So right now, our trucks, they go all the way up to the landfill in Beulah. Does everybody know where the landfill is? It's like the northernmost point of Escambia County before you get to the interstate. So when you come into Florida on the interstate, that big mountain that you see on the right, that's the landfill. And what happens is those trucks, they travel all the way up there. Once they get there, there's a windy road that goes to the top of the mountain, and they have to go up that mountain and tip out onto the tipping floor. Quite often they will even tip over. That's $500,000 out of your pocket and my pocket, because we pay for those trucks. The trucks have been on back order since 2022, and that's because of COVID and the supply chain, but those trucks have started to come in. But the problem is, we have grown so much, and those trucks all have to go to that landfill. So we need a transfer station in the middle of the county. That way they go to the transfer station, they drop off at the transfer station, the 18-wheeler goes to the landfill, the trucks get back out and pick up garbage, which they're designed to do. They're not designed to climb mountains. So this is going to do a lot of things. It's fiscal responsibility. It will help reduce transportation costs. It'll help with fuel, vehicle maintenance, labor hours. These savings directly benefit you, the ratepayer. Every mile saved, every truck lasts longer. Every labor hour optimized contributes to support rate stability. This is a solution that delivers long-term cost efficiency. It helps with infrastructure because those trucks will no longer be driving on Pine Forest Road, Beulah Road, and 9 Mile Road. And they won't be tying out. Just the 18-wheeler will go up there. Escambia County is growing. This is a vision for the future. So are their sanitation needs. The facility is built with future capacity in mind. We're a good neighbor. The facility will be built on an existing 31-acre property on Pine Forest Road, where the sanitation operations have been since 1990. The ECUA has purchased an additional 5 acres of heavily wooded land on the north side in order to be a sound barrier and a good neighbor. Transfer station is fully enclosed, so nothing will be outside. The trucks sleep there full of garbage right now, so if you don't smell anything now, you certainly won't smell anything then. Activities happen strictly within that building. Let's see. Oop. Also, ingress and egress of the trucks will be only on Pine Forest Road. and the collection vehicles transfer all happen within the enclosed building. It is not, nothing is dumped from the ground like it is at the one on Leonard Street. Everything will be underground. The 18-wheeler pulls in underground, the trucks just dump straight into it. So it doesn't dump on the ground like the one on Leonard and then they pick it up and put it in. It goes directly into the 18-wheeler. So no garbage will be dumped at this site. Last thing is, if you know anyone looking for a good career, we have almost 700 employees at ECUA. And it is a great career for someone exploring. We have an exploration program, a summer program for youth. If you're interested, I have this flyer, but this is only through April 30th. It's a great place for young people to work. So now I will take questions. Don't see any on here. I don't see any on here, all right? Oh, I know what he's gonna ask. When am I gonna take the fluoride out of water?
No. That is one of the questions, but the first question is on the recycling.
Yes, sir.
Can you give me a number? You probably ain't got it right now, but give me a number as to how much it costs to recycle versus non-recycle. In other words, the resources, the real resources.
Yes, sir.
That are spent trying to save $1. Are we spending $3?
Yes, sir. I sure can. I can, you send me an email, I'll get you the figures. Again, let me just say the one thing. Again, recycle is not a money maker. It's a cost avoidance. Everything you put in recycle doesn't have to pay $45 a ton to bury. So we're saving $45 a ton for everything that you recycle. That's number one. And number two, it's the right thing to do.
Feels good.
It's the right thing to do for the life of that landfill.
I'm just trying to point out the obvious. So I don't think it's a cost avoidance.
It is. It costs $45 a ton if we bury it instead.
Yeah. That's the reason why I want to look at those numbers. But also the House bill was at 651 that's going through right now. The exit for silica acid?
It's House Bill 700, or Senate Bill 700.
Gotcha. So, anyways, and you know I'm asking you up to meetings. And listen, everybody, I love Vicki. This is nothing about her personally. This is just about something that is a toxic byproduct of making fertilizer phosphate that's called fluoride. You can all get fluoride everywhere, but little babies don't have teeth and they shouldn't be being bathed in this. And I know it's so many parts, 7 parts per million, or whatever, or whatever. But it's still got over 70 studies that say that it's dangerous to children. So can we get it out before? And I missed the last meeting, what was it, last week?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so, but I made one before. But I just want, I'm trying to get y'all to get it out.
I see, I understand that. So this is a very hot topic, fluoride, right now. It was also a hot topic, back in 1987, 88? 90, in 1990, way before I got on the board. But there was a vote back then, and the vote passed, the people voted to put fluoride in. This happens all the time, okay? They took it out in Pinellas County, they put it right back in. They took it out in Canada, they put it right back in. So I'm not gonna be the one to make that determination. It's my thing. I can go to the dentist and buy fluoride. I know some people want it, some people don't. I don't represent me, I don't represent, I represent myself, I represent Larry, but I represent people that feel different ways about this. So what we've decided is that we will ask the people to vote again and let the people make the decision if they want the fluoride in or not. Now, with that said, if House Bill 700 passes, they'll make the decision for us and we won't have to worry about it. If they tell me to take that fluoride out, I'll take it out. If the legislature or the government tells me I have to take it out, then I have to take it out. But I don't know, hand raised, do you like fluoride in your water, or do you not like fluoride in your water? Not like it in your water. So see, some do, some don't. Usually all I hear from are the people that don't, but I know there are a lot of people that email me and call me and tell me that they do. So I represent everyone. Matters not to me. I can buy fluoride at the dentist, so can a lot of people. Things have changed a lot over the last 25 years, so I'm not sure how that vote would even end up now. It may end up that everybody wants it out. But I'm one of 5, and Steve is going to learn this, if he hasn't already. When you're one of 5, you have to have 3 votes to get anything done. And right now, if we put this on, if we voted on it right now, I think that it would certainly say, keep it in. But if we wait and let the people vote, and the people say they don't want it in, then that probably would switch. There would probably be more people that do want it. That don't want it. So, is that the last question for ECUA?
I was going to say, I wish I could be a dictator for just one day.
I do not. So, I represent, everyone that lives in District 1. Yes, sir.
Hey, Vicki, I've got a comment for you.
Yes, sir.
My name is Neil. I spent 31 years in Navy medicine. I did dentistry.
Yes, sir.
And I'm going to put together some information to send to you about fluoride. There's been studies that are directly linked to fluoride causing cancer, and also the pineal gland, the calcification of that gland. The purpose of that gland is blood flow to the brain, and fluoride causes calcification within that gland. So there's a lot of studies out there that are against fluoride. There's a lot of cities and states that have pulled fluoride from their public water supply.
Yes, sir.
But I want to send you some information.
Yes, feel free to send me all you want. I've gotten a lot of information on fluoride, both for and against, and I'm very happy to take it all.
In regards to dentistry, in 1986, I'm almost certain, at the Marine Corps Air Station in Yuma, I did dentistry on Steve. Yes, I did something in your mouth.
So I do know that the levels of fluoride are very important, and the level that is allowed is 1.5. The level that ECUA allows is 0.7.
Hi, I'm Debbie. I have a question about limbs and things like that that picked up, yard trash.
Yes, ma'am.
We put out a lot of things, not a lot. Every now and then we put things out, and every single time we put something out, we have to call because they don't come and pick it up. And it's irritating with that. My question is, why do they not have like a walkie or cell phone to call in and say, okay, this house on so-and-so street has stuff out, instead of them always driving around looking for it? Now, I get it when there's a hurricane or something, that makes more sense. But people don't put it out every week. And so why don't they just contact you, like you said, the more miles you put on, the more wear and tear is on the truck. And the trash truck should call and say, they're going to be coming anyway. Trash truck calls and says, so-and-so has limbs out and need to be picked up on so-and-so street. I don't get it because we're constantly calling to pick up. Now, they've gotten a little bit better, but it's still very frustrating when we're constantly calling.
Yeah, well, anytime you have an issue, you are welcome to call or email me. Is it the best to email or text? I'll take care of it immediately. Where do you live? In Beulah? In Bellevue? Okay. Just shoot me an email and let me know when you're having trouble, and I'll take care of it for you. No problem. Yeah.
Because the trucks don't come down.
Do you live on a dead end road?
We do. We live on a little private road, but it's still like, why don't they call and say, okay, so-and-so has it out there, and come pick it up?
Yeah, so if you're calling the customer service line, call me or email me and let me talk to them. I have that issue every now and then with the little dirt roads or private roads, but we'll talk to the driver specifically, and I'll talk to the sanitation supervisor specifically. His name's Gary. You and I will talk to him together. He'll get it fixed for you. Any other questions about sanitation or water? Thank you very much for allowing me to speak.
Thank you, Vicki. Okay, I'm going to look at some of these questions. We're getting thinner now. What's the plan for FBL to finish installing concrete electric poles on Burrito Key Drive? I don't have an answer for that, but I'll find out. We got it here, and I'll make sure we get an answer for you. I don't know if there's any plans at this point to do any more. Can we slow down development until the roads are increased to handle all the traffic? Now, I know that in Alabama, there's a municipality over there that they have done that. I don't know if we can. That's kind of hard to do, because that's telling us to slow our economy down, and we don't want to do that. We don't want to slow the economy down. But there's got to be a way to get these things done so we can handle the traffic. It seems like we kind of do things backwards. We build things, and then we figure out what we're going to do about the traffic later, or what we're going to do about the stormwater. I think we can figure those things out together, and that's what development services is supposed to be for us. Why does Pensacola Beach get nice facilities and we get smelly porta potties? I think we talked about that. I don't want to smell like porta potties either. You committed to fix the broken land development code, put a stop to horrible development, and to guide growth that makes sense. What are you doing on this? I'm not doing anything on that yet, but I will. What are you doing to invest our tax dollars back in Perdido instead of spending them elsewhere? Working on that. I mean, those aren't answers I have in my pocket that I can say, well, this is what I'm doing. All I can do is demand that we get to spend that money that comes from the revenue that we generate out here. And like I said, I wish I could be a dictator for one day, and if I did, then I would have the old F8 master plan, done, and I would have everybody, the developer I like out there, we would have the Perdido Key master plan, and we would have porta potties and all the other stuff. We have everything we want. But I don't get to be a dictator, and I only got one vote. This is Connie Walker, Vice President, Burger Key. Will county assume beach maintenance for 75 feet easement? Stand by. Traffic light at Gulf Beach in Sorrento is dangerous, with Pleasant Grove Elementary relocating. Any plans to get rid of the light or have a caution setting? Gulf Breeze in Sorrento. Well, they've already relocated. Gulf Beach. Oh, that's Old Gulf Beach Highway, right? In Sorrento, I think that's what that question is from Anonymous. I don't know if anything's being done at that intersection. I don't know. I'll have to double check. We need to lower the 55 mile per hour speed limit on our 2-lane highways, especially where there are no passing zones, so dangerous. So I think that's what we're talking about from Bower Road to Burrito Key Drive. I think that's the only place where it's, I'm sorry, it's the other way. It's from Bower Road east is where it goes to 55. Yeah, I don't know why it's not consistent through there. It should be consistent, I think, too.
Bower Road itself. That's one of many.
Oh, that's 55?
That's part
Oh,
of
I think,
55.
yeah, you're right. It turns, it's 45 until you get past the school, then it's all the way to the Lily Highway, you're right.
And I live in that subdivision that's right there in the Bayou Charcoal Park.
Mm-hmm.
And 55 right at our entrance. And it was a passing zone when we moved here 3 years ago. So I contacted my commissioner at the time, and we got the traffic commissioner. No passing zone. They put a new street light out, not a traffic light, street light to light it up. And It's helped somewhat, but they did a speed study, but they did it down by the park where it's, people are pulling out, so it's slower anyway. I don't understand why a two-lane highway should be like a highway speed,
Yeah,
like an interstate speed.
yeah.
It's crazy.
So I'll bring that up. I'll let the traffic engineers figure that out and find out the best solution for that. I think it should be 45 through there, all the way up and down. And traffic lights do synchronize. They don't seem to be synchronized any place in the county. And especially, I think we get complaints about the intersection there, Burrito Key Drive and Sorrento. Yeah, they can be synchronized. Gosh said we'd be getting a new fire station. Any updates? I think I gave that to you. I don't have any information on maybe water testing, but I know who to ask, so I will get an answer. And you know what? I don't know what the best way is to answer this, if it's going to be on the county website or if it's just on my own Facebook page, but I'll figure something out. There's a lot of questions here. I'm not going to get to all of them. Welcome to the District 1 Town Hall. Submit your questions. Can we do anything to stop Burrito City from going through? I think that's already happened. I don't think there's going to be a Burrito City at this point. And what you can do if that does come up is you just vote against it. That's what you do. Petronas said after his recent win that Congressional District 1 is where the hopes and the dreams of the Democratic Party come to die. Do you agree? Will you serve us the same? No. I think I told you that I don't know, and I don't care what your party affiliation is or who you voted for. I'm elected to serve all of you, okay? Now, I am a conservative Republican. I am a conservative Republican. But I think that all of us, whether you're a Democrat or Republican, agree on a lot of things together. I mean, you like clean beaches, you don't like the garbage on the road, you know, all the illegal dumping that happens, we don't like crime. We can agree on a lot of stuff. We probably aren't going to agree on how we're going to spend money, but like I said, I'm a conservative, so I'm not going to spend money haphazardly. That's about it, I think. What structures is the county planning to erect within the 75? We're not erecting any structures. That's about it. Is there any state grounds? Go ahead, ma'am.
So you mentioned earlier the legislation that's going to happen in Tallahassee that will affect this 75-foot easement. Can you tell me exactly what that legislation is and what you expect the effect to be on the easement?
I think that is House Bill 163, and I believe it is going to I don't think it's going to mean public beaches along there. That's what I think. But I don't know that for sure. I need to wait. I need to wait and see what's going to happen. This was advised, and I was advised by council at the county to wait, and even Santa Rosa County has called me up and asked me what I think about this, and they said you should wait to see what happens. See? And so that's what we're doing. I'm sorry, I don't have any more information.
So if there's no legislation that protects the private property rights, what would you do as commissioner? Can you do something with the county to recommend that they stop pursuing this lawsuit, or that they?
Oh yeah, I definitely want to get away from lawsuit. I've already met with your counsel on this, Steve Moorhead on this, and he knows that I'm waiting. He's probably already told you guys that I'm waiting too. He wants to wait as well. But I was hoping, beforehand we could come to some kind of compromise, something in between that 75 feet that we could agree on. I would be happy to do that even before the legislation.
It's not just the condos though that have been dragged into this lawsuit. I'm not sure if you're aware, but there are 64 lots. There are 5 plaintiffs. The remaining 59 lot owners, we've been dragged in as defendants.
Yeah. Yeah, my understanding from talking to someone in the PKA is that not all of them were involved in the lawsuit, and you were suing the other ones that weren't involved to enforce their property rights.
Yes.
So I think everybody's involved, everybody's in it now, right?
Yes, but some of us are listed as plaintiffs and some of us.
Yes, yeah, I do
It
understand
affects our ability to market our property if we want to
Yeah.
sell. And this was kind of forced on us by the judge because the judge told
Yeah.
the original plaintiffs, you have to join these other parties because the county argued that in the original lawsuit.
Mhm.
And because of the county's actions, now you have 59.
Now you have them all, right?
59 defendants who are pissed.
Yeah.
I mean, because we were dragged into this and now our marketability of our property is affected.
I know.
So,
Well, I'm gonna stand by for now. Can I get your name? Will you take her name down? I think that's all the questions I have here that I'm gonna answer. Any other safe rounds? Sir, in the back? You, yeah.
Hey, just a quick question in regards to coming onto Perdido Key, the Theo Bars Bridge. It looks horrible. I mean, it's overgrown. I saw them out there about a month ago. They trimmed some of the grass leading up to it, but not all of it. The welcome sign where you wanted to get the light and the flag back on, overgrown all around it. We went to the multi-use path today, and I know you mentioned that, but there's definitely some places where...
There's still some work to be done on there? Okay, I will get to it. I know that under the Theo Bar Bridge, it looks bad too.
Yeah.
And we need to clean that up, and I'll get to it.
Yeah, okay.
Yes, sir, thank you.
Thank you.
Hassan? I'm getting tired now. Did I say that out loud?
To answer your question, we're on that as well. We contacted FDOT, who did that side that you're talking about, the original side, and we're working on it as a board too, to clean up the other side. In addition, some of the pine trees are going to be super tall in the future. So that is currently being worked on. The side you saw has been, along with multi-use back path. Then that's the other part of the question, FDOT. That we contacted to.
Under the bridge.
We haven't done under the bridge, so that might be an addition for you.
Yeah. Thank you, Connie. Tell me that was the last one. That's it? Okay, thank you again, everybody, for coming out. And what I'll do next time is I'll do a better job of getting the word out so we get more people coming here or wherever we're going to have it. Thank you very much. Thank you, Connie.